Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the GrandView webinar series. If you would like to ask a question during the presentation, please use the chat feature located in the lower left corner of your screen. If you need to reach an operator at any time, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded Wednesday, January 12, 2011. I would now like to turn the conference over to Val. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah, for your patience. I appreciate your help this morning. To those of you who are participating through ReadyTalk, Twitter, and to those who are reviewing this webinar in a podcast or flash presentation later, hello. I'd like to welcome you to this new session of the Product Management View series. I'm Val Workman from Ryma Technology Solutions, one of the sponsors of this webinar. And if you'd like to present a webinar or have a topic presented, you can propose a topic by starting a forum thread in the GrandView community site, which we'll actually be talking about today. The PMV is all about the distributing and the sharing of experiences of members within the open product management community. And today, the PMV is the world's largest free repository of product management recordings. It's my pleasure to welcome Hakan Kilic, who will be presenting a tour of our GrandView product management community site. And for those of you who are using Twitter, you can follow and add additional conversation and questions by using the Twitter hashtag #PMV during this webinar and continue the conversation after the webinar in GrandView as dialogue threads. I'd encourage you to make comments and start tangent threads to this presentation as well and ask any additional questions. I'll be collecting questions throughout this presentation to address during the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Please feel free to send questions and comments to me in the chat section in the lower left corner of the ReadyTalk interface, and we'll try to respond to them today. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass control over to Hakan to kick off this presentation. Hakan?
Thanks, Val, and thanks everyone for attending today's webinar. Today's actually going to be a bit of a special presentation if you think about it. You're attending the GrandView webinar, and today's webinar is actually on GrandView. And the reason we're having this one is really how are you going to be able to make your mark in the new GrandView community. We've been around for a number of years, and we'll go into a little more detail on that one. But recently we've relaunched and redesigned the website to be a lot more collaborative and a lot more functionality has been brought to bear for the community. Now, if you think about what is GrandView and the vision behind GrandView, we've been around for more than 5 years, actually. We just had our 5th anniversary just in November. And throughout that time, if you think about how GrandView has evolved and how even the community at large for product managers, product marketers, and other product practitioners, this started as a community blog. Many of you have probably read it or have participated and has grown over the years, as well as the Product Management View, which is a webinar series, which is actually the predecessor of the series you're listening to right now. Now, from there, the interactions and the communications with the community, the presence of practitioners in multiple different types of companies have been participating, providing feedback, questions, discussions, as Val was saying, that you can have and you can continue to have even from this type of presentation, both on GrandView and on the other social medias. Twitter has come and gone as a new fad. The next year and next few years, we'll see what the next social media areas are going to come up with. And the idea is GrandView has been evolving the entire time. Now, what GrandView has evolved to is basically the leading source for product management, product marketing best practices, with the largest recorded videos from these webinars that are accessible to the community. And there's also a great deal of other functionality that we're going to go through, and that's the other focus for today's presentation. We're going to be walking through some areas that you may be unaware of that exist on the GrandView site, and also the communication and the exposure of those features for the community so they can leverage the most value out of the site. Now, Ryma is one of the primary sponsors for GrandView, but really GrandView is an open community for the practitioners, both academic and professional. And what's very nice about GrandView is that you'll notice quite a bit of professional practitioners. So people in the field using, the best practices that they're working with and, the pros and cons, the success and failures that they're experiencing and how they're sharing that information with everyone in the community. Now, the vision of GrandView, and this is really why Ryma